The background. Roni Flamer is with us. Roni is founder of the R Movement. We first heard of the R Movement years and years ago. It was founded in 2002 by a group of young, idealistic Israelis dedicated to making the dream of populating the Negev and Galil a reality. Some might add the word crazy to that description because a lot of folks who were involved in the early days of the R Movement really thought they were taking a big risk, a big chance, maybe not knowing what they were doing, and maybe they were a little crazy. Roni Flamer, welcome to JM and the AM.
Welcome.
So, was it crazy or not?
It wasn't, and it's still crazy. But to be a Jew, it's a crazy thing, you know. It's
Can't
always
disagree
about
with
the challenge. So it's to take the challenges and the missions, and always a big vision in front of us, and or the meaning of this word is light.
Right.
So we don't fight the darkness; we just adding light.
How do we judge if the first 13 years of the R Movement have been a success?
Well, it's quite easy to measure because we put a very clear goal, which is to build new communities and to bring more than 20,000 people to live in the Negev and in the Galilee. So after 13 years, you can see that there are about 8 new towns and lots of places that we expanded. By the way, hand with the JNF, and of course, there are more than 30,000 people who came, and just it's getting bigger every day.
What would be a good example? Give me a good southern town example of the R Movement success.
So I think that the flagship is really Karmit. It's to take a place that it's a new town that, as you just said, a crazy idea, and to say, guys, they are going to live here 10,000 people in 3 years, and suddenly, against all odds, and people for some reasons like to be pessimistic about chances and the bureaucracy of Israel. I don't think that this is the right way, but suddenly you can see that in 1 year, 470 lots were made, and more than 350 families registered and started to build their homes.
Right.
And people are even, making Aliyah and living the Tel Aviv area and moving to this place. It's amazing, and I think that this is maybe the craziest thing.
Roni Flamer is with us. Is there any basic service that was not there at the beginning? I mean, when you and others of the young people started moving into these areas, was there such a thing as water, phone service, and things like that?
Well, everything was in the Negev, but not in every place.
Right.
So it's really to be pioneer, and it's pioneer thinking and pioneer actions.
So you remember the early days not having what? What was it like in the early days?
So I can tell you that in the first community that we established, I remember Russell Robinson coming with the first mission of JNF to Sansana,
Right.
and they are looking for the bathroom. and they dare to think that there are going to be water in this bathroom.
Right.
And we said it's not the hour of the water at this day. And they say, guys, it's 2000, it's not 1948. And so I think that we were privileged even to face the pioneering spirit of the forefathers of this nation as well. And yes, it didn't start always with the electricity and phones.
I forgot about electricity, of course.
Yeah,
Right.
so it was not there from the first place, but I think that this is, let's say, these are not the big problems. The real challenge is the spirit always, and to make sure that there is a movement of young activists in Israel that still want to build this country. And
Are there still?
Still, and it's growing and
You
growing.
can tell this audience that there are plenty of young people
Absolutely.
who are ready to continue to build this land.
Absolutely. More than 30 groups that so far started their own community or their own community in existing development town or kibbutz or moshav. Even in this day, we are here in Sderot,
Right.
in this unbelievable place. And in Nachal Oz, for example, which was a flag of the last war in Gaza.
Sure.
Right now, again, with JNF, 18 families are making their way to live there in the coming summer, and 3 of them already moved because they want to be part of this community and not wait to the summer. So miracles are happening.
It sounds like it's infectious to a degree, that the word is spreading and that young people are spreading that word amongst themselves, and that spirit that you speak about seems to be as alive as ever. which is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. We just need the courage and this leap of faith
Right.
of saying it and call to people and say, guys, there are still missions, and we found more and more. Let's say that the demand is more than the supply.
Right.
We need today to invent new products. Let's call it Zionist products, because the demand is so huge. I'm from a family that is living originally from the center. We don't call it the center anymore. The
Right.
center is in the Negev and the Galilee. But
But what do parents and grandparents say to people like you, especially when they left that pioneering spirit behind and built themselves nice homes with indoor plumbing in the center of Israel?
Yeah.
What do they say to people like you when you make these decisions?
So I can tell you that my grandparents, at the beginning, they didn't understand what we are doing. They said, we did it when we established this
Why
country.
do it now? Right.
And you should make money, and you should
Relax.
take care of yourself. Yeah, you were a fighter in the army, so do something with your life. You are just throwing everything. So it's a process that they understood in the end of the day, and they were very proud after a few years that they understood what is going on,
And they saw the growth.
It's not just a dream or crazy dream. And I can tell you that two of my sister and my brother moved. My sister is moving to the Negev, another brother moved. My parents are considering moving to the Negev, and I have another brother moved to the north. So the whole family is in this
You made them
madness.
into pioneers.
And but see the housing crisis in Israel,
Right.
see the gaps that we are all day long discussing just after the elections
Right.
now. In the end of the day, the Negev and the Galilee are the vision of Israel. This is the future, and this is where, in a personal level and in a very idealistic level, you can build yourself and this country at the same time.
In some communities, the mothers and the wives are pushing everybody to do this, right? The spirit of the ladies of the Jewish people is really giving a big pioneering push, right?
Absolutely. First, we know who, in the end of the day, takes the decisions. We never mistaken in this. But when we started, we had these parlor meetings that we came, and we were the clowns with the crazy ideas at the beginning. And suddenly we saw that our supporters are these men who were dreaming about camels and four-wheel drives, tours, etc.
Right.
But we understood that they are not taking the decisions. So we have a condition. If there are not 50% women at the room, we are not coming. And this is the real decision makers, and they know, and they have their checklist. And once they have, a good direction, and so then
Smart man.
I have 5 daughters. I have no other.
What does it say? Nashim mechabavot et haaretz, right? That it's really the women who love the land of Israel even more than the men of the Jewish people.
Absolutely,
No
absolutely.
question about it.
And if they, but at the first time, I remember again, JNF and us, we had a meeting with a group in Givot Bar, and they were asking them, guys, what will make you take the decision to really move, not only to come for these tours? And then they said, one of the women said, I want to see a park. I want to see a kindergarten. I want to see a synagogue. And that's how we started to develop this JNF or movement methodology of all the public facilities in these communities. And it really works. Build it and they will come, or build it and the decision of the woman will come.
Because they know what's important to raise children. Can you name a couple of other people that were instrumental at the beginning with you? Was it a lot? Was it 30 people, or were there just a couple that were...
We started, it was a Phil Fisher, and his father Dudu is always very involved, not only singing for us, but opened lots of doors. And it was Nir Blushtan, and it was Zevik Yakubovich, the 4 of us.
That's it, 4 people.
4 people. Just came back in the age of 17, back from, there is a tour for... 17 years old kids in Israel going to the camps to see what happened in the Holocaust. And
March of the Living.
Yeah, and we came back and said, not that it's not going to happen again, but we are going to dedicate our life for something that is much bigger than us, and to make sure that Israel is going to be the best country to live in. We never thought of the Negev and the Galilee. When you live next to Tel Aviv, you are not aware of it even. But the 4 of us started it. But thank God, today it's a huge movement.
When Dudu Fisher on this show first told us about his son's involvement, So I looked at him like, how did this happen? And he saw the amazement on my face, and he looked at me and he said, Reb Nachum, I don't know where I went right. Most people say they don't know where they went wrong. He doesn't know where he went right, but he
was laughing at us on Shabbat after dinner. We came to the Fisher's house, and we were dreaming about this day after the army that we'll do something. And he was entering with Tova into the room and say, "Guys, you are crazy. I don't believe it is happening in my living room."
And he's a dreamer, and he says
he's a dreamer.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Roni, it's a pleasure to meet you. A real Jewish hero, in my opinion.
Thank you very much. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Roni Flamer. They're doing incredible work with the R movement, and it's something at JNF. JNF's proud of all their projects, but this one, they are really off the charts proud. Every single time I see Russell Robinson, at some point we get into a conversation about the R movement. It's really amazing.